All right, boys, we are back. Part 2, NBA player comps to NFL QBs. We are in the AFC now. Mike, how are you doing? Alex, how are you doing? What's going on, boys?
Feeling good. Good to be here, fellas.
Yeah, great to be back. Another great episode. I'm looking forward to this one. I have a couple good ones that I think you guys will like.
Yeah, we had a few rules from last time to not repeat any players, so I better not see any big repeats. So no Angel Reese this time around. I'm excited to get this going. I think it's a good way to prep the NFL season. We left off with some great comps, and now we're in the AFC. So let's start with the AFC East. That sound all right, guys?
Yeah, let's do
That
it. What do you
works.
want to kick it off with?
All right, let's start with. Let's go. Let's go with the New England Patriots. How about that? Alex Mackey's favorite team, the New England Patriots, with Drake May. Alex, who is your NBA player comp for Drake May?
Yeah, they definitely used to be my favorite. I don't really follow them too much, but for Drake May, I had a little bit of a struggle here. I have Jaren Jackson Jr. I have Triple J's here. And the reason why they found success earlier in their career, and I can see a similar fall off coming from Drake May. I think he's a great player. I think he definitely, led them to the Super Bowl and came up a little bit short. But, with some scheduling and some injuries, I think they had a kind of an easy, cakewalk move. I think JJJ found some success early in his career, Defensive Player of the Year, but then kind of fell off. I think Drake May will eventually be forgotten.
You think MVP runner-up Drake May is Triple J? Mike, Mike, you're shaking your head, man.
That's a crazy, crazy take. I went in the exact opposite direction there. Drake May, very young player in the league, but he's obviously one of the best players. If you watch the tape, I don't think, Mackey, you watch much tape. I think, he went from a team that's historically good, and he went to them in a bad year, and he resurrected them. So you could say he's the next Tom Brady, if you think about it that way. They put some nice pieces around him. He had a bad year to start off when he was with the franchise as a new player. They put some nice pieces around him, ended up finding some success, made a Super Bowl. He's going to be a special player for a long time. My player comp for Drake May, Victor Wembanyama.
Yes.
Wow.
Same thing, Mike. That's right, Mike.
No.
Listen. Wemby, also insanely good. And the scariest thing about Wemby, same way with Drake May, they're both just getting started. Wemby went to the Spurs, historically a good team. They were not very good when he was when he initially went to the team. Look at them now. Now they're doing great, made a final, going to be special for a long time. The ceiling is unlimited for Drake May. The ceiling is unlimited for Victor Wembanyama.
You could also make the case, too, kind of a cakewalk in the same way the Patriots had a cakewalk with all the injuries that the Spurs encountered, with the Timberwolves being banged up and with J-Dub going down against the Thunder. Mike, I'm in complete agreement with you. I think Drake May is the comp. The question is, does Drake May have the ceiling that Wemby does? He probably doesn't, but I think from a situational standpoint, I think you're dead on, Mike. And Alex, I think you're crazy.
Not even close. I mean, what you just did there is compare the Spurs to the Patriots. That's what you did. You compared the best player on the Spurs to the best player on the Patriots. While they have the Spurs and Patriots very similar. Wembanyama is Drake May is not even. It's just wrong. There's no Victor Wembanyama comp. So I'll leave it at that. Right. This is a generational player we're watching, and will finish in my book top 5 all time. Drake May, I don't think will. Pending injuries and all that kind of fun stuff. JJJ, while I'm not saying it's a better comp, I don't see Wemby.
I hope you're not saying it's a better comp, because that's a horrendous way to start off, man.
I just don't think Drake May's that good, man. I don't watch tape. So there you go. I'm caught.
Yeah, our listeners had Mike as the big winner from last time with the LaMelo Ball to who did you compare LaMelo Ball to, Mike? It was
Dart.
I went with Jackson Dart and LaMelo Ball.
Jackson Dart, LaMelo Ball was our winner last time from the Choppers. The listeners enjoyed that one.
That's right. The
All right, Alex.
similarities there, the two big ones, they took teams that were horrible and made them fun to watch. Two good guys for their leagues.
I'll give you that one.
All right, Alex, let's see if you can redeem yourself. Who is your NBA player comp for Malik Willis, the Miami Dolphins starting quarterback?
This one's going to turn some heads, but it's a little recency bias. I have Malik Willis, who I'm pretty high on. I have him as Jalen Brunson. And let me stop you right there. Hold on. I understand.
Disaster class. Disaster class.
I understand he's coming off an NBA Finals win.
What?
And an MVP. I get that. it's a little late. I think Malik goes to a new situation, and I think he plays well. That's the comp there. I'm not saying that's the only thing I see between these two players is that I think Malik Willis is pretty good. He's going to go to a new team with and they're going to shock some people. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm not saying Malik Willis is Brunson, but that kind of arc is coming for Malik Willis.
I'm not saying the comp is the comp, but it's not the comp, but it is the comp. That's what I'm hearing out of you.
Now, let's hear it, bro. Who do you got?
All right, so again, similar to you, I'm going with limited tape. He got a bag off of limited play, but in that limited play, he was pretty good, and he changed teams. He went to a warm weather team. I got Walker Kessler, the new Lakers center. Walker Kessler is Malik Willis. Think about it. He only played 5 games last year, similar to Malik Willis. He had limited time with the Green Bay Packers before Jordan Love came back. He balled out in that time. It wasn't a whole lot of tape. Maybe defenses haven't figured out to read him, but it was enough for him to get that big contract. And a lot of people have a lot of expectations on making them a winner. So I'm going Walker Kessler as Malik Willis.
I see it.
I don't hate that too much. I like it a lot better than your pick, Mackey. I hate to say it. Justin, I went more of a pick that was similar to your route. Malik Willis, obviously a very unproven guy, but he's shown flashes. He's mobile. He's got a strong arm. He had a few starts with Green Bay, did pretty well with Green Bay, had 6 touchdowns during his time there, 0 interceptions. But the thing is, I just don't trust him to continue that play going forward like you do, Mackey. So that's why I went with Dennis Smith Jr. I feel like that's where his ceiling is. Dennis Smith kind of had a little bit of hype at one point in his career, but yeah, he kind of fell off at this point in time, and that's where I see Malik Willis going. I don't think he has any future with the Dolphins. I don't think he's going to have any future anywhere because I think the Packers was a really good situation for him, and I think now he's going to be exposed as a fraud the same way that Dennis Smith Jr. was.
Knicks legend, Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah, you have no confidence in him. I have more confidence than you. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to be okay. I have
the utmost confidence in him.
You clearly do. Jalen Brunson, oh my gosh. I can't even wait to hear your next one. We'll go to the New York Jets. Probably one of the worst run organizations in all of sports. They bring back Geno Smith. We'll start with you, Mike. Mike, who is Geno Smith's NBA player comp?
Yeah, so Geno Smith has kind of been a journeyman around the league. Early in his career, he was in a bad situation with the Jets, bounced around a little bit, was a backup here and there, but he really found his footing for one team, and that was the Seahawks. And after he found his success with the Seahawks, bounced around to other teams, never found that success again. So I think his defining trait is that he had a small window where everything clicked for him, and the rest of his time in the league, lackluster. So my NBA comp for Geno Smith is Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, drafted to the Kings, wasn't viewed as a high-level player, ends up going to the Celtics. They call him King of the Fourth. He was the man there. But once he left the Celtics, that good situation that he had going for him kind of bounced around just like Geno Smith, never really found his footing again, kind of faded off into history.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think this one is actually we're going to all kind of be in a similar standpoint here. I went Julius Randle for a lot of the ways that you said, where he's found success in these little pockets, like maybe 2 to 3 years, and then the rest of them they've just kind of been bad, and now he's just kind of shipped to Brooklyn and see if he can kind of turn around another New York team. Randle, he was good at a point, and his peak was okay, but never really found success, and that's where I have Geno Smith as I think another lackluster year is coming here in New York.
Yeah, Geno Smith, not a whole lot to get excited by. I was trying to find somebody who went back to the team they started with, and when you look at it in the NBA, it's a lot of guys who are really good and they're having their homecoming. So you have guys like Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Garnett, the infamous Sports Illustrated cover where he's got next, and then it's KG and Towns, and then for some reason it's Tim Duncan and LaMarcus Aldridge, even though LaMarcus Aldridge is 30, D'Lo and Kobe. So I'm going to go with that route. I'm going to say it's Kevin Garnett specifically on that Sports Illustrated cover. I know we said we couldn't repeat, but I'm breaking my own rule because I think he's going to mentor Cade Klubnik out of Clemson. I think Geno's going to be a great mentor, and I think they got to steal in Cade. That's my take, and you can't convince me otherwise.
That's enough said. I mean, I think Garnett's, That's actually disrespectful to Garnett, but we'll move forward because we don't want to spend too
Only
much
the
time on
wash
Geno
version.
Smith.
Only the wash version. But yeah, we'll move on quickly because no one cares about the Jets. Sorry, Kenny. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. This is going to be a good one. I think your pick is going to be kind of your opinion on whether or not he's going to get it done as a starting quarterback. He's going to bring Buffalo home a NFL Super Bowl. Mike, who is Josh Allen's NBA player comp?
So Josh Allen's NBA player comp for myself is none other than Nikola Jokic. First of all, because you look on the field, you see Josh Allen out there. He's a beast among men. He's way too big out there. Same way with Nikola Jokic. He's humongous. But the other thing is that both of these guys can beat you in any way. Josh Allen, he can beat you standing in the pocket. He can beat you rolling out. He can throw down the field. He can beat you with his legs. Nikola Jokic, also very, very versatile for a center. He can shoot the three. He can run the point. He can work you in the post. So I think for that versatility and that dominance that they both show in their games, that's my player comp.
Hey, you're allowed to miss. You're allowed to miss. That's fine.
That's a miss.
That is fine by me, bro.
Crazy.
I'm gonna lead this off with I am an irrational Josh Allen hater.
Okay.
So I know this will come from depths of opinions and emotions that are not based in reality. But I tried to lean on the side of okay, he is a good player. My comp is Donovan Mitchell for many reasons. One, he's always going to be there, right? Number two, is he ever going to get it done? I think not. I don't think Donovan Mitchell ever wins a ring. I don't think Josh Allen ever wins a ring. I think his best chance, unironically, was last year when he played the Broncos there and didn't get it done through the game, losing interception, whether you believe it or not. But I just don't think he's going to get it done. I think he's extremely overrated, and I think he's had all the makings in the world. He, say what you want about Cook, great running back. Say what you want about the defense, been good every year pretty much, and he hasn't got it done. Donovan Mitchell, you're on the clock. Josh Allen, you're on the clock.
I think Donovan Mitchell is a little disrespectful because Donovan Mitchell hasn't won an MVP, and Josh Allen has been the best player in the league, arguably multiple years.
He robbed Lamar, by the way. Continue.
I'm not going to argue with that, but Donovan Mitchell's never even been in the same category. I don't even think he has a first-team All-NBA to his name.
I actually think he got it last year or something. It wasn't
forever.
No.
But have we ever called Don Mitch the best player in the league? I don't think anyone's.
I've never considered Josh Allen the best player in the league. I think he's he has cool aura and he has luscious hair, so people are like, oh my god, he's like this country guy. The guy stinks.
All right, I go. So between Josh Allen and I'll preview my Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson pick, I've been rotating three guys between those three. I've been rotating three NBA player comps, and I've switched it multiple times. So I'll probably come back to this, but it really depends on if you think Josh Allen's going to get it done and how harshly you judge the loss last year. I'm going to keep in mind super athletic, can kind of do it all, high usage rate. See where I'm going? Has an MVP, but never got it done. I'm going to go Russell Westbrook. Here because he has gotten far in the playoffs as their guy, but has fallen short. Can you actually win with this guy being your most high usage person? They don't really run the ball much. It's just all Josh Allen. They don't really have a whole lot outside of Josh Allen on the offensive end. And when their defense isn't that great, can he carry in the same way can Russell Westbrook carry? Not really, but can you get an MVP in the regular season? Yes, you can. That's my pick. That's a little harsh on Josh Allen. When we get to Burrow and Jackson, I'll reveal where I was, who I was debating. I'll save it. Mike, you didn't like that pick.
I didn't like that pick at all. You're killing me here. Can we win with Josh Allen as the guy? The answer is yes. The problem isn't Josh Allen. The problem is the pieces he has around him. Do you know who his top receiver was last year? Neither do I. No one does. He doesn't have any weapons around him. His defense has blown games constantly. I will say he could have won some playoff games if he made a better play here or there. But if you look at these big playoff games that he's lost, these big regular season games that he's lost, it's more than just Josh Allen. He's not the problem on the Bills. And when you look at Westbrook as your comparison, that guy, team cancer right there. So I don't like that NBA comp at all.
I didn't hate it, JLong. I didn't hate it as someone, like I said, Allen, I'm tired of hearing Allen's going to get it done. How many more years are we going to hear that Allen's going to get it done? Last year, I mean, you couldn't have set up a better, scenario. And he still didn't get it done. He didn't even get to the big one or the second big one. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of Josh Allen, man. I think he just gets whatever the opposite of scapegoat it is. He gets, whatever that word would be.
Well, on the other side of it, we're going to switch to the AFC North. Someone who actually gets Mike. Did you go? You went, right? You're looking at me funny. You went.
I'm just laughing right now.
You
Are
had
you
Jokic,
moving to
man.
Lamar Jackson?
Oh yeah, you had Jokic. Yeah.
Jokic. This guy's out of his mind.
I'm just laughing at myself because I was very high on Josh Allen. You guys don't seem to be all that high on him.
I compared to an MVP, a bona fide Hall of Famer.
I'm just laughing at myself.
It's just one.
I'm laughing at myself. I'm laughing at myself. My Lamar Jackson pick is a bit hypocritical with what we just talked about.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. So to Alex's point of someone who doesn't get the media praise, but also has playoff failures, is Lamar Jackson. He's someone that gets absolutely shredded for his playoff failures. Fair or not, depends on if you're a Bengals fan. I'm sure you hate him like Mike does. But I'm curious to see who you have then, Mike. It better not be just go ahead, Mike. Who do you got?
Yeah.
Who's your NBA player comp for Lamar Jackson?
I'm just going to throw the name out there and let it sit for a second. I went with Russell Westbrook.
So when I said before I was debating him, Burrow, and Allen, Westbrook made the rounds as potentially Jackson. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that this comp works for Jackson, but not Josh Allen, because I feel like Westbrook, he's not going to carry you to a championship, and I feel like the pieces around him were fine, but he was the problem on his team. I feel like Josh Allen, that's not the case. He hasn't had good weapons around him in his career. Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, he's had great tight ends his whole career, good receivers his whole career. On the other side of the ball, the other 50% of the game, he's had a great defense the entire time he's been there, but the success in the playoffs hasn't really come, similar to Russell Westbrook. Both of these guys have not come, or I guess Westbrook came close to a championship, but, there's just never – there's not a lot of good excuses for these guys. And I just think that, their playoff success is mostly on them.
Mike, I'm in a similar camp as you. I'll reveal my other pick here. I like mine a little bit more than Westbrook, I won't lie. I'm happy I stuck with this one. If you look at Lamar Jackson's playoff losses, there's some games where he has under 20 attempts. He is the first game where he had like 50 attempts and he was playing all over the place, but he's got a lot of games where he doesn't show up. Games where he doesn't show up in a playoff atmosphere. An MVP, multiple-time MVP, in the conversation many times. My NBA player comp for Lamar Jackson is James Harden. It's James Harden. You want to believe it. You want to think he is the man. He will get it done, and then he just kind of disappears. He disappears in the playoffs. I'm still a believer, and I would still love to see Harden make it happen. I want Harden to win a ring by himself. I do, because then I can say he's better than Kobe. He's a better shooting guard of all time. But unfortunately, that's probably just not going to happen. As Lamar's athleticism starts to go away, in the same way Harden's has gone away, the chances of it happening are less and less.
I had him. I had Harden, but I changed it. So I had Harden initially for all those reasons. I think Harden is going to be someone we appreciate once he does hang it up. I believe Lamar is someone that we do appreciate once he hangs it up. I'm a huge Lamar guy. I love Lamar Jackson, so I felt like Harden was a little bit of a dig, but that's probably the more accurate one. I went with Luka Doncic.
Yeah, so that's going to lead to – that's my next pick for –
Yeah, I went with Luka just because I like Lamar a lot. His more close comp is definitely James Harden. He has a couple shortcomings in the playoffs, and you really hope he gets it done. But I think they're both kind of going to be underappreciated. I think Luka's underappreciated right now. I think the stuff that he does is unreal, but I also think until he wins one, he won't get the recognition he deserves. And who once was a media darling, I feel like Luka is the tides are kind of turning on Luka fairly quick, with everything in the offseason too and everything in the media. So the once turned darling has turned into kind of the villain. So we'll see if that's the right trajectory. But I am a biased Lamar Jackson fan, so I try to pick the best player with those kind of similarities as I could. But James Harden was written down as well.
Yeah, the MLB player comp, I'll give you a little extra, I think is Clayton Kershaw. if you really love Lamar, those playoff struggles, he's a regular season MVP. You watch Kershaw's playoff failures, and you're like,
It's maddening.
he was great. He just left 2 guys on, and then the reliever came in and gave up a 3-run homer, and now he's on the hook, and his playoff ERA is a 5. But he eventually got it done. And he shut it down in the 2020 World Series. I'm also a Lamar fan, but I really think for my next one, Joe Burrow, and Mike, we're going to let you go last year. The Luka comparison to Joe Burrow, I think, is just too perfect, where a lot of people have given him breaks over and over again. He's got this aura. He's like, oh, Joe Burrow's the man. Luka's the man. Time's running up, buddy. Time's running up. You've gotten to the championship game. Luka got to the finals in the same way that Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl. You're always hurt. You've had good situations, but it hasn't happened. You always look cool in the offseason, but you keep getting hurt, and it's not happening. So I think the media pressure is going to come down really hard on Joe Burrow if he doesn't get it done this year. In the same way, it's going to come down really hard on Luka if he doesn't get it done. Honorable mention here with CP3 with just the injuries. CP3 has come close many times if he didn't get hurt. So I kind of have both, but that concludes the trio I was doing. I thought maybe Luka is Josh Allen with the usage rate. I thought maybe Luka is Lamar. It really depended on what you think of these guys, but to me, Burrow and Luka are too perfect.
Mike, I'm going to let you rebuttal that one because I don't have a great one. So I want to hear you because I'm assuming you're a Burrow guy, and I hope yours is a little bit better than JLong's there.
No, better. I love that one.
Yeah, see, I like the Luka pick, but not for the same reasons that you do. Like, Luka's elite, and he's an absolutely skilled player. You watch him, he's the most skilled player on the court in 90, 95, 99% of the games he's in. I think the most defining trait about Joe Burrow is that he's an accurate passer. You know, he's got the best completion rate in NFL history. He has these throws that are 60-yard bombs down the field to T. Higgins that he makes look easy, even though they're in double coverage. And you can really see the results of the work that he puts in. You know, he does the little things, and it really, really shows on the field. I think besides the finesse and the accuracy with Joe Burrow, another big element to his game is that mentality that you touched on a little bit there, Justin. They call him Joe Burr, Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty. They call him that for a reason. That dude will take a sack, make a bad play, he puts that right behind him. While other players will put their heads down, that's not Joe Burrow. He's got that winning mentality. You could call it a Mamba mentality, and that's why I'm going with Kobe Bean Bryant. You see similar aspects in Kobe's game, like I mentioned, that killer mentality. We all know about that. But when you watch Kobe play, prime Kobe, his footwork, those little jumpers, just like Joe Burrow, you can tell that he puts in the work, puts in the reps over and over and over again. And you can see that precision in his work, and it comes out in his gameplay.
Oh my God! What a homer take. That's terrible.
This is a shameless Cincinnati fan.
It's
Oh
a
my
biased
God.
take, but just because I'm biased doesn't mean I'm wrong.
I got 5 reasons why you're wrong. I got 5 reasons why you're wrong.
All right, let's hear him, Mr.
Ring number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Dude, he hasn't even sniffed a winning football since the Super Bowl.
Okay, but whose fault is that? Is that Joe Burrow's fault?
Yeah, because he's hurt in the same way Luka can't take care of his body. And I'm a Luka guy.
No, that's not true. That's not true, brother. The defense. Oh, you're killing me here. Okay.
Clear out.
Joe Burrow. Listen. Joe Burrow.
ISO. This is ISO.
The entire time Joe Burrow has been with the Bengals, he has not had an offensive line ranked higher than 25th. That's crazy. He's under pressure the entire time, but he works with what he has, and he does a great job. His defense, aside from the Super Bowl year, has been terrible the entire time. He's on an offense that's putting up 30 points a game, 40 points a game. The defense is letting up 30 points a game, 40 points a game, 50 points a game. It's not. I won't accept the Joe Burrow slander. I just won't.
If anything, you're just reinforcing my point because A, you talk about the crazy throws, the crazy shots from Luka. He makes it look easy. But also, B, he hasn't had the supporting cast. Luka hasn't had a great defense in a super long time, especially with the perimeter defense between Reeves and LeBron that he just had. I think Luka as Joe Burrow is the perfect comp. Kobe is I don't even know where to go with you, man. Kobe, also, like, off the field, I think Joe Burrow's a little better off the field than Kobe, but we don't have to go into that one.
You guys even want to hear mine or no? You guys are just
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's hear it.
It better not be Alexi Shred or something like that.
No, close though. So Burrow in my head is, the 3 words that come to mind are empty stats, aura, and bad team. Right?
Forward. That's 7 words. 6 words.
That's fine. So my player comp, and this is gonna make Mike probably upset with me. My player comp is Zach LaVine. The guy has aura. He's a decent player. Don't get me wrong. He'll put up 30, put up 25, 30. But is he going to win you games? I don't really know. I mean, I think he struck a genie in a bottle that one year, and it kind of went whatever, cool aura, But I just don't have him as a winning player in my book, and I think the numbers as he gets into his career are more glaring in the sense that maybe he's just not that good, and maybe he was just one of the best college players of all time.
Mike,
like I said earlier, I will not accept the slander. We will see you guys proven wrong when the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year. Now that Joe Burrow finally has a top-tier defense again, we will see him in his true form again, and he will get the recognition he deserves. We will also see a Joe Burrow MVP this year. Thank you very much.
I think Zach LaVine's great. I mean, I think he's a great player. There's nothing wrong with him, but some players win, some players,
I thought this was going to be a slam dunk from both of you. I think I clear you both the Luka Doncic comp. You guys are completely on the opposite end of the stratosphere here. Zach LaVine is just straight up disrespectful, Alex.
How?
Because Zach LaVine hasn't led a team to an NBA Finals.
But
let alone a playoff series win.
Yeah, it's because his supporting cast, bro. It's that crutch. They all use a crutch. We'll see this year.
Speaking of using a crutch, let's go with the Cleveland Browns. They need all the help they can get, all the crutches they can get. I got 2 here. I got Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. Who do you guys want to start with?
I only did Deshaun Watson.
Mike, how about you? We'll start with Deshaun?
Yeah, we can start with Deshaun.
All right. Alex, go with Deshaun. Who do you got?
Pretty simple. No real thoughts behind it. I have Miles Bridges, just for the sheer fact of just the off-field stuff. He may be a decent player. He hasn't really been great at all. But it just, even if he was good, the off-field stuff and the off-court stuff just takes away from it. Got no respect for Watson here.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I didn't even consider his off-the-field stuff. I just considered his gameplay. He was just announced the starting quarterback for the Browns, and he's the worst starting quarterback in the league by far, so I went with Jaleel Okafor. I am repeating a pick from last week. That was my J.J. McCarthy comp, and that is also my Deshaun Watson comp, just because none of these guys are ever going to amount to anything in this league, and they deserve to be on the bench.
If I'm Jaleel Okafor, I'm calling my PR guy right now why the Chop Sesh podcast is referring him to Deshaun Watson. I did incorporate the off-the-field issues, and I have Latrell Sprewell as my NBA player comp for Deshaun Watson. Latrell famously choked out his coach, PJ Carlesimo, over a disagreement, and also said he needs to feed his family after turning down a $20+ million contract. If that wasn't enough to feed his family. I think in the sake of keeping it good here, we'll move on from Deshaun Watson since his off-the-field stuff is pretty deplorable. So we'll have a more fun one. Shedeur Sanders. I'll go first here. I'm very proud of this one. Shedeur Sanders. My NBA player comp for Shedeur Sanders is Bronny James.
Wow.
Ron James Jr., Ronnie James. Here's why, okay? Here's why. A lot of hype. Tons of hype. College kind of didn't go as planned. Like, he was good, but, it didn't go as planned. Obviously, Bronny, thank God he's okay. He had the heart condition, didn't play at USC. Has the big name dad, kind of a Nepo baby. So it's like, is this guy actually good or is just his dad? Turns out, not bad. Both late round picks. Shedeur Sanders is definitely good enough to be an NFL quarterback, or at least on a roster. I think Bronny has been a pleasant surprise. He's definitely good enough to be on an NBA team as a 12th man. He kills the G League when he's down there, and he puts some good minutes in. JJ Redick trusts him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's okay this year. I don't think he's going to be anything great, just like I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to be anything great, but I think Sanders is Bronny James Jr. Boys, your thoughts?
Don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. I definitely laughed a little bit when you brought up Bronny James, but after your explanation, I kind of see where you're going with it. They got the dad situation going on. Might be a little better than people give them credit for. I'm actually a little higher on Shedeur Sanders than you are, and that pains me to say as a Bengals fan, but I think Shedeur is good. just got to give him a little bit of time. I went with Khalil Ware as my NBA player comp for Shedeur Sanders. Khalil has flashes, but he hasn't really gotten a lot of opportunity to prove that he's a guy that can stick around for a long time. He was a first rounder in 2024 with the Heat. But his stats for the amount of minutes that he got were actually not bad. 11 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, and a block. And he's only doing that on 22 minutes per game. So he's got limited minutes. I just feel like he hasn't really gotten a good chance in the same way that Shedeur Sanders has kind of been thrown to the bench and not really given a chance as well. I think both of these guys need to be given a chance to shine to show us what they can really do.
I want to interrupt you here, Mike. By what week do you think Shedeur is starting?
Well, it's hard to say. He should be starting right now. I don't think there's anything besides the contracts that say that Deshaun Watson should be starting. It seems like the Browns know that they paid Deshaun Watson this huge contract, and they don't want to be wrong about it. So we'll see. If I was a Browns fan, I would honestly boycott the games. I really, really would. It's ridiculous. There's nothing in the tape that shows that Deshaun Watson's better. Shedeur Sanders has a more promising future. He's a better player. So we'll see. Time will tell. I'll give it 5 weeks. I think by week 5, Deshaun Watson's on the bench and Shedeur Sanders is in.
Yep. That's a good call.
Well, let's stay on that topic because it's interesting. What happens if Deshaun Watson balls out? That's got to be kind of hard as a Browns fan to support.
Oh, yeah. It's a slippery slope, but
Mackey, you can take it if you want.
Define balls out. Like they're 13-3.
I mean, let's say he looks pretty damn good. Like, what if he's throwing 300 yards a game? And I don't know, the odds of that are.
I think objectively he is a bad quarterback right now. Like, and has been for the last 2 years. Like, I actually don't like the first year he came back. You're like, all right, maybe he had maybe the first year he's getting used to it. Last year he was like objectively bad. He's just like not fun to watch anymore either. He was like electric, and now he's just not fun to watch. And truthfully, I think we spend more time on Deshaun Watson than he deserves.
To be honest with you, Justin, I hadn't considered what happens if Deshaun Watson's good because I don't see a future where that happens. But if he is, I guess the Browns will accept him. I really think they would if he ends up balling out, just because that's not a team that's seen winning football in a long, long time. And a guy who can give that to him, I think you forgive anything at that point if you're a Browns fan.
Speaking of winning, let's kick it over to Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the darkness, AR-12, my guy. I'm an A-Rod guy, simply because I just think he didn't get the respect he deserved during the Brady era. Alex, who is your NBA player comp for Aaron Rodgers?
I'm fairly certain after I say this, me and you might have the same person after your monologue there. So the person I went with is a cold-blooded killer, has a couple of rings, and was once, the best player in the world, in my opinion. I went with Kevin Durant. He has some off-field, off-court struggles with the media. He is very, I think, misunderstood. I'm not saying the burners are a good thing, but I think he just loves to hoop. And I think Rodgers kind of just loves to ball out. So I got Kevin Durant. He's obviously got 2. I'm gonna go 2 meaningless rings equals 1 ring for Rodgers. It almost feels like at the end of the career, Kevin Durant won't be appreciated because he just didn't go to the finals enough. Like it's a career that should have been so much better. And I think that's where I'm focusing on, whereas Durant and Rodgers both have the talent to have careers that were so much better, and they just never did.
I like that. I think it's better than mine. My player comparison was more as who he is right now.
Okay.
From a vibe standpoint, like if Rodgers balls out randomly against a random team, if he throws up 400 yards and has a few touchdowns against the Browns, I'm like, yo, that's awesome. In the same way, Carmelo Anthony on the Trailblazers. You watch just the clips, you think, hey, that guy's still got it. But if you actually watch the full game tape, not so much. It's probably time to hang it up. So sneakily effective, but probably can't rely on him to carry you anywhere. Kind of in a similar vein, I wonder where Carmelo would have been had he not gutted the Knicks when he got traded to them. It's it's kind of a what if. I think Melo's career is a what if in a lot of ways. He was in that loaded Nuggets Western Conference, so that's my pick. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, after hearing your guys' pick, I like them a lot better than mine. I think you guys captured Aaron Rodgers, where he stands all time, a little bit better than I did. What I was thinking with Aaron Rodgers is a little bit more along the lines of what you were thinking, Justin. Just him right now, I think of Al Horford. Just because I look at Aaron Rodgers, he's old out there, man. He's really old. He's not a bad player by any means, but he's really old. And you look at him and you say, how is this guy still in the league, dude? Like, just don't take any sacks. We don't want you to get hurt. Just call it wraps. So, I feel the same way for Al Horford. That dude has been around since I was, 4 feet tall, and he's still in the league. He's still kicking it. Just two very respected veterans in their leagues.
I think the combination of all of our three is like literally Aaron Rodgers to a T. Like, I think that literally sums it up perfectly. We got all aspects of a great, illustrious career from Aaron Rodgers.
That might be one of our better ones. Let's decrease the quality. We'll call it that. Let's go with the Houston Texans, the AFC South. AFC South is just, oh man.
Let's just make it quick. Let's make it quick.
Yeah, let's go C.J. Stroud, number one. C.J. Stroud, who is your NBA player comp?
So this was actually the last one I wrote down. I struggled with this one mightily because I'm not sure if he's good or bad. But he's had some success in the league, and I think these next couple of years are crucial. I have Jalen Williams from the Thunder. Yeah.
We have similar first names. First names.
I'm not sure. You have Jalen Johnson?
Jalen Duren.
Okay. I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he's bad. I think he had that, good year in him, and then it's kind of like, whoa, maybe he's not that good. I also think he's in the AFC, which is pretty stacked in terms of QB, so it's hard to, I guess, shuffle the pile. But I went Jalen Williams. I'm not sold on him on the Thunder yet, so we'll see. He's coming off an injury. I just don't know where Stroud – I just don't know enough about Stroud.
I think here's where my comp might be a little bit better than yours. Humble brag here. Jalen Williams has never played bad, though. Like, he's never looked terrible. He's just been hurt. Jalen Duren looked bad last NBA playoffs. He looked like a completely different player in the same way that C.J. Stroud fell off in the playoffs. So he just had one of the worst games ever from any starting quarterback in the playoffs. But I'm in agreement with you because I don't really know. Is Jalen Duren going to turn around? Should people should have thrown money at him, that restricted free agent contract? I don't know. Mike, where do you stand?
Yeah, so I'm not very high on CJ Stroud. I wish I was, but I'm really not. He had a lot of hype coming into the league. He was viewed as this guy that was going to turn his franchise around. But we've kind of seen that when he's put under pressure and the defenses figure him out, he's definitely struggled. And I think a lot of that is his confidence. Coming into the league, he had an interview in his second year, where he was ranking the quarterbacks in the league at the time, and he had Josh Allen ahead of him and one other person, I forget who, but he ranked himself as third within the league, which that's confidence right there, and he just doesn't have that anymore. That guy, he's had some terrible, terrible playoff losses, and if you watch him in those losses, he's just been absolutely dejected. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to come back from that. Like last year in the playoffs, for example, he had 4 interceptions in the first half versus the Patriots. And there were times during that game they'd cut to Stroud on the bench, and that was a defeated man right there. And I've seen that before, and I saw that in Ben Simmons. I know that might be a little harsh for CJ Stroud, but Ben Simmons, in a similar vein, had a lot of hype coming into the league. Ended up playing pretty well for a minute there, but now is just kind of thrown to the curb in a lot of different senses.
Yeah, and you could also maybe go Roy Hibbert there too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Moving on, Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones, former New York Giant great. Mike, we'll kick it back to you. Who do you have?
Sure, yeah. So Danny Dimes is kind of a weird player. Was on the Giants for a little bit. People weren't really sure what to think of him. Now he's on the Colts. He's got a lot more respect in the league. I'm reusing another player comp that I used last week. I'm using Andrew Wiggins, another guy that was kind of hard to evaluate early in his career. Might be a bust, might still have a little bit of potential. but found a pretty good situation, and it ended up being pretty respected within the league.
Alex?
I don't hate that. I actually just crossed off someone off my list after he said that. I originally had John Morant just on a whim, just flip a coin. Don't really know what the correlation was there. I just wrote down a different guy just based off the fact that what Mike said, where kind of went to a different place. Like he has one memorable win, kind of like that game against the Vikings. Like that was a cool on the road win. It's like, oh my God, that like kind of made him money. I think he's Trey Young in the sense where Trey Young's been making money off of like one playoff series, like his whole kind of career. And I'm not that low on Danny Jones. I think he was actually like playing pretty decent last year. I just don't know with this injury now. You're kind of been. You have to prove it again. Trey Young proved it for that one series against the Knicks. He got all the hype, all this kind of stuff. Danny Jones, he beats the Vikings on the road, big playoff win, gets him paid. Trey Young gets paid, and it's like, all right, are you going to get that second contract now? Like, are you actually legit? So I put Trey Young just on a whim about 5 seconds ago.
You managed to find the person that I was seeking for, and I couldn't get to it. I was thinking of players who just made bank off of a playoff win,
Yeah.
and also change. And obviously, they changed scenarios because they made bank because another team believed in them. So I have a few, and I want to see your guys' reactions. Okay, so number one, reusing last week, I have Jordan Poole.
Hate it.
Hate it. Okay. Another one I have Bismack Biyombo. Bismack Biyombo feasted off of some playoff success. The next one I have is Jan Mahinmi. He also feasted off some playoff respect. And then my pick is going to be Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent feasted off of
any Heat role player.
Any Heat role player, they feast off of their playoff success, get a big deal. He got one with the Lakers. And then we kind of just remembered, oh, yeah, that's why he's just kind of like a okay mid-rotational player who can't really guard anybody on the perimeter, but will hit threes. The same way I feel about Daniel Jones. He's good. He's good. He's definitely an NFL player, but I don't think he should have gotten the bag that he did. It set the Giants back pretty substantially, in my opinion, because I think the team was starting to get together, and they put a lot of cap. They suffered a lot of their cap space because of Danny Jones. So I'm going Gabe Vincent. Would you guys agree of the list of guys I gave? Who's the best?
Yeah, I think you chose the right one. I don't remember Jan Mahimi's career that well, and I don't remember Bismack's playoff success, to be honest with you. On Phoenix?
Yeah, he dined out a little bit. I think the Magic threw a bag at him.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Gabe Vincent a lot because they just made money off one thing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we can make money off of one thing too, I don't blame them. Like
this pod.
One pot. All it takes is one, right? And then we'll dine out. We'll never have to work again. I like my job, by the way. Okay. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Mike, who do you got?
Yeah, so Trevor Lawrence is this guy that came into the league, very, very highly touted. They were saying he was the best prospect since Andrew Luck, which some people say Andrew Luck was the best prospect ever. So very, very high praise coming in. Had a lot of struggles early on in his career. That might not have all been his fault. He had Urban Meyer, who's been, an obviously very terrible coach in the NFL, not coaching in the NFL anymore. His rookie year, he led the league in interceptions. His completion rate was 60%. He's been dealing with some concussions, shoulder injuries, that sort of thing. So he's, had a lot of hype, kind of came back down to earth with his expectations that people had on him. But now he finds himself in a little bit of a better situation, and he's kind of sneaking up on us a little bit. He's had some better play in recent years, better defense, better coaching, better weapons around him. But people aren't really talking about him. On a small market team, he's not getting a lot of hype. It seems like the media hasn't really caught up to him. So my NBA player comp for Trevor Lawrence was Brandon Ingram. I feel like another guy that should be more respected in the league, but really isn't. Brandon Ingram had a lot of hype coming into the league, just like Trevor Lawrence. Kind of struggled a little bit here and there, and then kind of fell off the radar. When you hear, the great players in the league in recent years, Brandon Ingram's name really isn't brought up. And I think part of that's because he's kind of lost on a small market team. He has all-star selections. He won Most Improved Player one year, and people don't really talk about him. I think they should be talking about him a little bit more. We'll see what he does on the Raptors here, if he can give them a little spark. Same thing for Trevor Lawrence. We'll see what he does. I think this will be a big bounce-back year for Trevor Lawrence, and I think we'll see the Jaguars take the division this year.
Take the division.
Take
I
the
mean, is that,
division. Take the
is that,
division. That's right.
is that saying much in the AFC South? I don't know. Alex, what do you think?
So I went a similar route where someone who's had a lot of hype and deservedly or not, I went baby Jokic, Alperin Sengun. I think Alperin had a lot of hype in his first couple of years. It's like, oh my God, this is baby Jokic. You know, he's getting that kind of name, and then it kind of fades pretty quickly, and then it's like, all right, but he's actually pretty good. So it's like, Trevor Lawrence is good. I think his hype just kind of hurt him. It's like one of those weird spots where you have so much hype in the beginning, you don't live up to that hype that you're still putting up 20 and 8. It's like you're still a good player. You just don't have the hype you had before. I got Alperin Sengun, who I think is a good player, and the media dogs him a little bit for how he runs and, that kind of thing. He's a foreign guy, whatever. I think Trevor Lawrence gets a little bit of, the long hair. He looks kind of a weird dude, whatever. I got Alperin Sengun.
All right, this one's my.
You don't love it.
This no, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, but I think there was no hype around Sengun coming into the league.
It was
But
more when he was there.
Trevor Lawrence was the highest touted prospect since Andrew Luck, like Mike said. Has just a ton of hype, was considered to be generational. You were watching Trevor Lawrence's high school tape. He's throwing the ball a million miles an hour.
I know where you're going. I know
Uncle
where you're going.
Rico. You think this Trevor Lawrence is going to be the greatest player of all time in their sport? Long, flowing hair. My NBA player comp for Trevor Lawrence is Caitlin Clark.
That's not where I thought you were going. Oh, wow.
We got Angel Reese last weekend. I think Trevor Lawrence's NBA player comp is Caitlin Clark for a lot of the reasons that Mike mentioned. Originally brought into not a great situation, one of the worst teams in the league, didn't really have a full supporting cast, and is just getting absolutely destroyed. No offensive line for Trevor Lawrence, really no Sophie Cunningham around for Caitlin Clark. She's getting beat around, fouled, flagrant fouled. People are hating on her in the media, the whole gambit. Then all of a sudden gets a little bit of a supporting cast, starts to find their footing, has some playoff success. All of a sudden they're a contender. Trevor Lawrence is Caitlin Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't hate that. Any Caitlin Clark mention I'm happy with. That's my GOAT. But I feel like Caitlin Clark's ceiling's a little higher than Trevor Lawrence's in my opinion, but I don't hate that take.
No, I don't hate that at all. The lead up led me to believe you were going Zion Williamson, and then you said something about hair.
Ooh, Zion's pretty good. But then you're not a believer then. Are you a believer still in Zion?
I am. I think New Orleans is the dead zone. I think if he stays there, he will die. Career-wise.
We can segue real quick. Could you imagine if Zion was drafted to the Spurs?
Yeah, it's wraps. I think he's so the games I watch of him. Obviously he's injury prone. The games I watch of him, I'm like, this guy, you can't guard him.
No.
You actually can't guard him.
No, his PER numbers are absolutely absurd. Per 36 are unbelievable. But that's pretty damn good, man. Between the Spartanburg highlights and the Trevor Lawrence high school highlights.
Yeah.
You might have had it there. Why didn't you go with Zion on yours?
I just thought of him now. I had Zion. I think I had Zion last week, and I actually followed the rules, so I didn't use someone that I used last week.
I like Zion a lot there. I hadn't thought about Zion when I was thinking through it. But yeah, that's a good one.
Solid player. Yeah.
Can you believe that, though? You don't think of Zion Williamson when you think of NBA players.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. New Orleans is a pit.
That guy tanked an entire stock when his shoe blew up playing for Duke. Nike plummeted because of him. That's how popular he was. And now he's on anything. Him and Lonzo Ball, I thought were going to be the future of everything, even though I still follow some Lonzo Ball. Great pod. Another great pod.
Yep.
Let's move on. Well, actually, let's close the division. Let's not move on yet. I know it's the AFC South. Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans. Mike, who's your NBA player comp?
Yeah, Cam Ward, kind of a tough guy to evaluate. Just 1 year under his belt. They used a very high draft pick on him, first pick overall. There's good parts to his game that we've seen. He's got a good arm, stays calm under pressure, very aggressive with his throws in a good way. I think more quarterbacks need to be that way. But there's definitely some things that he needs to clean up. He misses reads sometimes. There's accuracy, consistency issues. He's got a really weird release. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. His throwing mechanics are whack. I don't know if he can fix that or not. So there's a lot of unknowns about this guy. He's got a very high ceiling, obviously, but he's got a long way to go. And I think Scoot Henderson's the same way there. A guy that was pretty highly regarded coming into the league. He just kind of stuck in purgatory on a bad team, you know. It's kind of hard to tell. Is his mediocrity so far because of his situation on his team, or is it because he needs to play better? It's kind of hard to evaluate. So, I think Scoot, he's got similar traits to Cam Ward, very aggressive style attack. Could be that guy, maybe, if he gets a better situation or a little bit more development. Got some things he needs to clean up for sure. But just a lot of unknown, and we'll see with both of these guys.
I really like the comp, but you must not have a lot of confidence in Cam Ward because I feel like Scoot Henderson at this point, he's just not. He hasn't developed the outside shot. His defense isn't as good as we thought it was going to be. I really do like the comp though, Mike. I can't hate it, but you must really not like Cam Ward.
I'm really not high on Cam Ward. I hate to say it. He's just got too many inconsistencies in his game, and that's not going to work on a team like the Titans. The Titans are very far behind in terms of competing, in my opinion. Other people might not say that. They added a nice weapon for him in Carnell Tate, so I guess we'll see. But, yeah, I'm not very high on Cam Ward.
What direction did you go, Alex?
I went kind of in the same direction where I think he's a couple pieces away, but like the potential is, through the roof. I went Asar Thompson. In that kind of same way, it's just a question mark. You don't know if he's actually, he's honestly on a good situation, so we'll see. But, like, does he ever get a jump shot? Because if he does, it's wraps. So, like, we'll see. Does Cam Ward ever, put it all together? Because he has, like Mike was saying, the talent, the arm strength. Like, so I think he's a couple pieces away, and I think Asar Thompson is my guy for that.
Yeah, I think I'm in between you guys here. I'm a little higher on Cam Ward than you are, Mike. In the same way, though, you go to the Titans post-variable, that's not a really great situation. I feel this way about Darius Acuff going to the Sacramento Kings. I'm really high on Acuff, but are we going to be in a position where he just can't get it done because he's with the Kings? It's kind of a curse.
I like that. I don't hate that at all. Just, hasn't played a game yet, so we'll give him a little longer leash.
I can't be wrong if they haven't played. Like, it's great. I've no...
Yeah, that's money. That's on the money.
Yeah, I compare WNBA, I can't be wrong, and then I'm crushing it. Okay, AFC West. Who do you want to start with? What team?
I'll go with the Raiders. I only did Kirk Cousins because, that's the starter right now, and I don't really have a comp for Mendoza. So I went Kirk Cousins, and I did Bradley Beal, kind of just like a solid player. Some people don't like him. I actually like Kirk Cousins, so just a solid player that's kind of bounced around now, like a respected veteran in that sense. I got Brad Beal.
Brad Beal's pretty good. He's also made the bag many, many times, just like Kirk. Mike, how are you feeling about it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that Bradley Beal pick. I went in a similar route. I went with Carmelo Anthony.
Whoa!
Whoa, you don't like that. Rebuttal on that.
Oh, respect Melo.
Respect Big Kirko.
He's not a New Yorker, man. What's their respect about Melo?
No disrespect to Melo.
Scoring titles. Has Kirk Cousins ever won a passing yards title?
Big Kirko wakes up dripping, dude. Put some respect
Olympic
on
champion,
Kirko.
man. Come on.
All right, go ahead, Mike. Make the case. Make the case, Mike.
All right. So Kirk Cousins used to be the guy for his franchise, just like Carmelo Anthony was. Carmelo Anthony was the guy on New York. Kirk Cousins was the guy on the Vikings. And they weren't regarded as the best players in the league during their primes, but they were very, very highly respected. And in a similar way, both of these guys are definitely game changers to their teams. They took teams that needed some elevating, and they did that elevating, and they did it well. I think my biggest similarity for these two players, Kirk Cousins and Carmelo Anthony, is their career. They had these stretches where they were very highly respected, played at a very good level, and then kind of dropped off a little bit. Still in the league, still kicking it. The level of play just isn't there anymore. I'm thinking of, Trailblazers Carmelo, OKC Carmelo, Kirk Cousins. He's just kind of out in no man's land right now with the Raiders. So I think in terms of career progression, the similarities are there.
I don't totally hate it in terms of career progression, but I don't think Kirk ever had the highs that Melo had. Like, was Kirk ever a top 5 quarterback? Because Melo was a top 5 at his position. Melo was a first team, second team All-NBA type of guy.
I'm not disagreeing with you there. My biggest connection between the two guys was definitely the career progression. So you make a good point.
No, I wouldn't back down so easily though, because I mean, if you do look at it from a disappointment standpoint, what was the whole thing? Kirk couldn't get it done on primetime football. Like Monday Night Football's record was really terrible. Sunday night, same thing. Same thing with Melo, right? He never really got it done because he couldn't create for his teammates. But I don't know, Mackey, where do you land on this?
I mean, I didn't hate that at all. I think I'm not as high on Melo as you are. I think Melo was. I think people in New York pre Brunson considered Melo to be Brunson. Like Brunson is the king of New York. He actually did things. Melo had aura. Brunson got it done. Melo, a little overrated, kind of just an empty scorer, given a little bit of Randall vibes. I think Melo was overrated. And I think Kirk Cousins, in the same sense that Kirk Cousins and Melo are accurately placed. Like, I think Kirk Cousins was very good and didn't get enough credit for that. Because, like, once you lose on primetime, that's the only people that national media games watch. Like, it's such a damning. Same thing with Goff, Romo, like all these guys. I think Kirk was good. I think Melo was good. I think Melo was a little overrated from your standpoint, but I could see the comp. I don't hate it.
So you're saying Kirk may be a little underrated.
I do, yeah. I like
Okay.
Kirk.
All right. You've walked me off the ledge a little bit. Like you said though, I don't think aura when I think Kirk, despite the chains and whatnot.
You ever seen a chain? Yeah. What do you mean? Despite you just said I don't see aura despite aura. That's what you just said about the chains.
Well, my NBA player comp I think has some aura, especially on the West Coast here. Has changed multiple teams. Kind of an empty stats guy, but also has made teams relevant. My NBA player comp for Kirk Cousins is DeMar DeRozan.
Classic.
I think it's DeMar DeRozan.
Him and Beal are one and the same.
I think DeMar DeRozan is a step better than Bradley Beal, and he's not as good as Melo. Again, I feel like a lot of times I'm in between you guys from a skill standpoint. Also, the changing teams of DeMar, and he's really respected around the league. People love DeMar DeRozan. I think people really like Kirk Cousins. From a Mendoza standpoint, though, I have him as LaMarcus Aldridge on the Sports Illustrated cover with Tim Duncan mentoring him because it's funny because LaMarcus Aldridge is actually just really old in the same way Mendoza is an older rookie. I think if Mendoza has the same career as LaMarcus Aldridge, that's pretty good. I'm not expecting much more than that. I'm not expecting him to be some unbelievable game changer. I don't know if he has the talent. And I think in the NFL, you do need the talent. You can be this game manager, all these types of things, but those defenses get a lot faster. Mendoza had 29-year-olds playing on his team. His best wide receiver was, I think, my age. I think he was 26 years old. I'm really sick of the old guys in college football. I hate it. I think there should be an age limit, not a year limit. They just changed it to the 5x5, which I think is a step in the right direction. But in my humble opinion, if you start your season, your collegiate season at 24 years or older, that should not happen. I think there should be a cutoff at 23, similar to how Little League does it with being 12 years old.
Mike, did you ask him about Mendoza? I didn't.
Mendoza's hard. He hasn't played a snap yet. I don't know.
Yeah,
So Mendoza,
I think he just went on I think he just went on a tangent there. I don't really. I guess yeah. I don't know what he's talking
Yeah, I
about.
get clipped somehow, guys. Come on.
so let me ask you guys a question about Mendoza. I feel like, have you seen him speak to the media? He's very wholesome and cheery. He doesn't talk like a football player. Do you guys notice that too? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there an NBA player like that too? I can't think of one.
Kind of a Wemby comp, maybe. Like, hey, man. Like,
Nah,
Dude, Mendoza's he's nice. He's too nice. Does that make sense? He's like a nice, wholesome guy.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
Like
no,
if
I
you-
agree.
If you stepped on Mendoza's shoes on
Probably like
accident,
Robin
he'd probably
Lopez.
apologize to you.
Robin Lopez, he punches mascots.
Yeah, but in a playful way. No, I don't think there is a player like that, but I am concerned that he can control a locker room with that kind of demeanor and like these guys are, tough. So we'll see about Mendoza. The jury's still out, obviously, but
Yeah, the only thing that gives me some hope is the fact that Tebow controlled that Florida Gators locker room, but it kind of did struggle. I think people didn't really love. I don't know. I'm a Tebow supporter. Great follow on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn. Great follow on LinkedIn, Tebow.
all right, moving on. I'll move on. We're gonna go to the Broncos with Bo Nix. Who wants to lead it off?
I can start this one off. I think Bo Nix is Buddy Hield. Super old coming out of college. Why are you so old? Can we just move on? Don't get the NBA. Buddy Hield was notoriously ended up being older than we expected. But ended up being a really good serviceable player. He has a lot of good moments in the same way Bo Nix has been really, really solid. I enjoy watching Bo Nix in the same way I enjoyed watching Buddy Hield at Oklahoma. So that's my player pick because they're a little older coming into the league and they actually are pretty good.
I don't hate that. I kind of went in the same area. I'm not sure if he was old when he was drafted, to be honest. I don't really know much about this player, which I should. I went Chet Holmgren. I don't think he's ever going to be really great. He's just going to be serviceable. And I think he was. I think Bo Nix went a little higher than people expected, right? Wasn't there something about Sean Payton like deking the Vikings out for or something? I don't know. I remember reading some article, but Chet Holmgren, decent player, not going to knock your socks off. I don't think he's that great. Bo Nix, same kind of area there.
What article are you reading, or is it just a tweet?
It was a tweet. It was a tweet that went into an article. It was not an article. I do not read articles.
Mike, where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm much higher on Bo Nix than you guys are. I'm actually a big Bo Nix guy. We'll see what you think about this player comp. I'm going with Jalen Brunson. So hold on. Let a man explain. Bo Nix is Jalen Brunson. Bo Nix led the league in passes. That's a volume shooter right there, just like Jalen Brunson. Two guys, not physically elite in any aspect. Jalen Brunson, a smaller guy. Bo Nix, not the biggest guy in the world for a quarterback. In their drafts, kind of overshadowed a little bit. Bo Nix was the sixth quarterback off the board. Jalen Brunson picked 33rd, drafted behind guys like Aiton Bagley, Doncic, just, very overshadowed in their draft, kind of under the radar coming into the league. But once they actually got to the league, they had a little struggle here and there, but at this point in time, I feel like both of these guys are very highly respected. Brunson is obviously more respected in the league than Bo Nix because Brunson just won a title. But with that being said, I think Bo Nix will get it done here in the next few years. I really trust that Sean Payton system. I think Bo Nix has what it takes to continue to develop. And they just added some weapons for him. They added Jalen Waddle, who's a very underrated receiver, to the arsenal there. So I think Bo Nix will see some success in the future. Maybe not championship level, but I do think he will get a lot more respect here in the future.
Someone cooked here.
I don't know.
I actually don't hate it anymore. It sucks because Brunson just won a ring. You know what I mean? Like, you say Brunson now, it's like, oh my God, the best point guard in the league. No, he won a ring. Mickey, might I add, but I don't hate it.
Thank you.
I think you both got the Gatorade icon next to you guys right now. I should be seeing that next to your names on Riverside. You guys are just. What are you talking about, Jalen Brunson? Jalen Brunson was the best player in the NBA Finals. He's the best player in the NBA Finals. What are we talking about?
Hey, a year ago, like Mackey said, this would have been the best comparison. Just give Bo Nix a little more time, man. Give him more time.
Bo Nix is an ankle away from being the best player in the Super Bowl. Yeah, let's go, Mike. Come on, baby.
It's 2v1, baby. It's 2v1.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Chet Holmgren and Jalen Brunson, bro. Respect him.
Chet Holmgren's a terrible pick. I'm coming at you here, Mac.
No, whatever.
Bro. How does that make any sense? Bo Nix wasn't like Chet Holmgren's been the guy.
It doesn't make sense. That's why. It doesn't make sense.
Sorry.
A good serviceable player, man. Bo Nix, is not going to blow your socks off. Brunson a year ago, not going to blow your socks off.
I don't know. I've never seen any Bo Nix bag work YouTube videos in the same way I saw Jalen Brunson bag work Dallas Mavericks videos.
Yeah, stop, bro. All right, I mean, look, let's go to the man of the hour. No. There's two more.
Yeah, let's save that one for last. Speaking of things that don't make sense, Justin Herbert, the guy's got all the talent in the world, but where's he at? Justin Herbert, who is your NBA player comp, Alex?
This was a miss, man. I had Pascal Siakam.
Say it with your chest, man.
I had Pascal Siakam, and this was written down 2 days ago, and it was one of the first that came to my mind. And since I wrote it down, I have no idea why. I think it's kind of just he's like forgotten almost. Herbert, a man amongst these, you got Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen. And it seems like Herbert's forgotten. I'm not saying Siakam is the next, coming of whatever. I think he's a talented player that just doesn't get any recognition because most of the time disregard the Pacers, run to the championship and Siakam's first ring, right? Disregard those years. He's never really talked about. And Herbert in the same way, I think he's got a lot of talent. I think Siakam is a serviceable player. I think Herbert is Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I actually like that comp a lot. I feel like both of these guys, there was one point in time where you thought maybe these guys will be mainstays in the league. Maybe these guys will be those elite level players. Kind of hasn't worked out that way. I'm not very high on Justin Herbert myself. He's obviously a great player, but the playoff, the playoff performance, it's abysmal. He's 0-3. He hasn't won a playoff game yet. Part of that's been his defense, but I really do think overall it's been him. Last time they made the playoffs in 2025, he led an offense that put up 3 points. If you're the quarterback on an offense that puts up 3 points, that game is on you. And similarly, in 2024, their playoff game versus the Texans in that wild card round, he threw 4 interceptions. It was hard to watch because the Chargers defense played great, but he just handed the Texans that game. It's like he's scared or indecisive or something. He just plays these great regular season games, but when he gets to the playoffs under the spotlight, it seems like he doesn't trust himself to make those big plays or find those tight windows. So for that reason, my NBA player comp for Justin Herbert is Tracy McGrady. I feel like in a similar way, they're very respected in the league. No one's going to deny that they're great players. Tracy McGrady, for example, won multiple scoring titles. He's got those All-NBA selections, but he's also never won a playoff series. And I think in a similar way, he's looked less decisive when he makes those NBA playoff series come to fruition. And I think there's a clear gap between the regular season play and the playoffs. I think that's what defines McGrady, and I think that's what defines Herbert.
You might have just won best comparison of the podcast. That
Mike
was
has
good.
Mike has a shock factor when you first say the name. You're like, no way, and then he keeps speaking. You're like, holy, he's goddamn right.
He's goddamn right. Yeah, that's better than mine. I was going back and forth on a few guys. You touched a lot on how he doesn't have the success, but man, if he got the success, would we look at this guy differently? So that's the route I went. I have 3 names for you, okay? It depends which way. Actually, I'll go 4 names here. It depends which way it goes for Herbert. If Herbert gets it done, think about how we'll think about him historically. Let's say they win, right? Or even just get to the AFC Championship and Josh Allen has an early exit. We're all of a sudden talking about him as one of those elite guys, especially if he wins. To me, he's kind of Dirk Nowitzki a little bit. If he wins. Dirk was like, he's soft. He had to go to Australia when they blew the 2-0 series lead to the Heat. He completely disappeared. They were an 8 seed. They lost to an 8 seed as the number 1 seed during his MVP year. One of the worst losses by a high-level guy in a long time. But he won that ring. Everything changed. Same thing with Steve Nash. Steve Nash he was not seen as this unbelievable NBA point guard. Was on the Mavs. There's a lot of fun stuff here. Gets a new high-level coach in the same way Harbaugh has come to the Chargers. All of a sudden turns it around. You could also say the same with Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, early struggles, couldn't shoot threes. By the end, he figured it out, got with a good system, changed his play a little bit. Actually, retired as having the 3rd most threes in NBA history, Jason Kidd. Not anywhere near that anymore with the style of play. That's the positive end. But I think if he never gets it done, we're looking at more of a Harden here, or maybe even a little bit of a Trae Young, where it's just vibes, but not anything substantial.
I can see Trae Young.
I like those comps.
Yeah,
I
don't see Harden yet.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it really just depends how his career progresses from here. He might start doing really well under the new Harbaugh system. He might not. We'll see.
To me, he's the guy with the most to gain this year.
He's got a lot to gain for sure. Most to gain, I don't know about that. Initially, what comes to mind for me for most to gain is C.J. Stroud. That dude's on the hot seat. He's got to ball out this year. He's got a great defense, good weapons around him. He needs to prove himself. But Herbert definitely does as well. He definitely does as well.
I think Herbert's from a legacy standpoint, though, like
Herbert's on the clock.
Yeah, I think it's less of a on pressure watch or hot seat. I'm talking like purely where will the media think of him? Where will America think of him if they are successful this year? I don't think anyone takes as big as a jump as Herbert does, unless like, I don't know, Geno Smith.
That's a good point.
Like,
That's
yeah,
a good point. Yeah.
this guy's going to be on every Wheaties box. He's going to be into a different stratosphere if they figure it out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Siakam-esque.
Siakam up now. Which, speaking of stratospheres, the one guy who seemed to be in his own type of stratosphere, we're going to close out the pod with Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Alex and Mike, who is Patrick Mahomes' NBA player comparison?
I'll lead off here. I once didn't like this player. He was hated in my eyes. He threatened my favorite player's legacy for a long time, and he bled into it. I have Stephen Curry being Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is such a special player to watch, such a special, it seems, human being, and just a special thrower of that pigskin, man. He is a joy to watch. He changed the league. Everybody wants to do these flashy passes and these plays now. Credit to Andy Reid, obviously. But Patrick Mahomes is Stephen Curry. I'm not sure Patrick gets up to 5, but he's close. So we'll see. I think he's going to be on that same route, whereas in like 4 or 5 years, we'll forget about him. He might even win this year, but I'm saying like in 4 or 5 years, Patrick Mahomes is going to lead another one and get that Curry, the fourth one with the 2022, and have that type of arc. Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable, plain and simple.
Yeah, so I actually also had Steph Curry. I think that's a great comp. When I thought about Curry, there's really no other player you can compare him to. It's the dynasty, like the Chiefs. That's a dynasty right there when you think of that team. The Warriors, you think of that dynasty led by those two guys, Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry. I agree with you, Mackey, for a lot of the reasons you said. Just to build off that a little bit, I think both of these guys, they do their best when things go wrong, if that makes sense. The pocket's collapsing. That's when Mahomes is at his best. He scrambles out, does a little sidearm, something magical even. Like you watch it and you say, that there's no way that throw should get off, but it does, and it somehow works. Steph Curry, he's in double teams. He does 2 behind the backs, does a little spin and chucks it up, and it somehow goes in. I think both of these guys are I don't want to go so far as to say the GOATs, but they're in that conversation for sure. And they had their GOAT moments, and they're both very, very respected in their leagues.
I also had Steph Curry. Specifically, though, I think Patrick Mahomes this year is going to be 2022 Steph Curry, like you mentioned, Alex. Yeah. I think people are starting to count him out. They're like, this guy isn't the same anymore. They had some down years in the same way Curry had some down years after Kevin Durant left. And then he reminded everyone who I actually am. So I see 2022 Steph Curry ahead for Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, that's the only right answer. It's funny. I was doing the NFC last week, and I'm thinking, there's no way we don't mention, Curry or LeBron, which obviously they're legends of their sport. And I was like, in the AFC, I'm like, I don't think anyone either. It just slipped my mind. And then, when I sat down and did it, I'm like, it's the best player in the league, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, to me, it was the easiest one. Mike, did it come to you right away?
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah,
the question is, what era of Stephen Curry is it going to be? Is this another struggle year where they get the Wiseman pick, or is this where he starts to turn it around?
So I think they're going to be good this year. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're due in like 3 to 4 years. Like he is getting another one, like for sure. He's probably getting 2.
Yeah, he had some injury luck. Not so great injury luck, and there's always the turnover. I think the 2 dynasties aspect, in the same way the Warriors tried to do that, they missed on the Kuminga and Wiseman pick, but there's a lot of parallels there.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Mahomes and the Chiefs this year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. That might be a hot take, but I think their best days are behind them.
Steaming.
Steamy take from our boy Mike. Mike, you managed to have the best pick of this draft, of this NBA player comparison, and the worst one, in my opinion. I thought Tracy McGrady was unbelievable. I'm still mad about your Jokic pick.
Well,
who
like
do you have, Jokic? Allen?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, no,
Two
that's
great
blinded by the lights.
They dominate the game, dude. They dominate the game. They take over.
Yeah, once you stop drinking the Kool-Aid, man, you let us know, all right?
All right.
Joe Burrow, Kobe is also pretty brutal.
Respectfully, I
Yeah, but
disagree. That was a
Why
great.
do you want that? Why do you want it to be Kobe?
It's the mentality, dude. That's the biggest part of it. It's the winning.
yo,
Kobe played through injury.
Huh?
Kobe played through injury.
Where's Burrow, dude? Dude,
respect
you're too
Burrow.
focused on this injury thing, dude. You're too focused on that.
What else am I supposed to focus on?
He's a
Respect Zach
dog.
Levine, bro.
He's a
Respect
dog.
Zach Levine.
He's the original 30-year-old rookie.
Those crazy. That's a crazy take.
All right, we got to wrap with that.
We gotta wrap this up.
We are long overdue. As much as we'd like to continue, maybe we'll do running backs next week and go even longer. But no, let's wrap it up here.
Mike, thanks for being our NFL expert. We're looking forward to having you on during the NFL season and breaking all things down, NFL and especially Cincinnati Bengals. Mackey, I'll see you again next week. Always talk more NBA, some storylines as always. And yeah, thanks for another great podcast. Appreciate you, boys.
Absolutely. Another great Chop Sesh.
Yep. Thank you, fellas.
Be good, guys.
Take care, y'all.